Hi, I'm 𝗏𝗏𝗿𝗏, the creator of the Independent Business Method. Welcome to part 2 of our 5-part series, the Independent Business Tell-All interview, featuring one of our independent business builder community stars, Ed Wagner, owner and founder of Empire Property Management. In this episode, we're exploring the choice to change, leaving the dependent business prison behind. Discover how Ed made the pivotal decision to escape the grind and take the first step toward building a business that grows, runs, and scales without him.
And that's when my journey to turn Empire Property Management from an all-consuming, job basically into a real business that is an entity all of its own, has its own inertia, its own momentum, its own, grows without you, runs without you, and scales without you. So
I'm 𝗏𝗏𝗿𝗏, owner of Dahl & Grayson Marketing and creator of the Independent Business Method. I help business owners build independent businesses that grow without them so they have time freedom, the ability to sell their business for top dollar, pass on to the next generation, or simply collect checks while they explore the world. Today, there's a new breed of business owner in the world, one that's not tied down by their business, but is in complete control of their business. And you can become this new independent business owner. We call ourselves independent business builders, where you're not dependent on any one marketing or advertising strategy to grow your business. You're not dependent on any one employee or supplier. You're not dependent on any government. You're not dependent on any banks or investors. Instead, you exist in a world where you control your time and income.
So that's when that really started. That's slow going at first. I didn't really know where to start. So Eric was, really helpful with that. These in the early days. I think we really started meeting in 2014. Is that right?
Yeah. It would have been 2014. That's right.
Yeah, 2014. And so we met weekly, and so again, I was starting from scratch. Property management is a really tough business to scale, especially when all the tenants and your owners are really hiring Ed Wagner and not Empire Property Management. They weren't hiring a business, so to speak, as they were hiring a personality. And so there was quite a bit of I don't know what you call it, but it took a while for the owners especially to detach from Ed Wagner and to really understand that they were hiring a company, not just Ed Wagner. So that was one of the most difficult things. But grows without you, that was the first thing. So at first, again, I was BNI. I joined a lot of local trade groups and things like that. I did public speaking. I taught classes, things like that. Anything to kind of get my name out there. Well, that's great, except it's not growing without you. As soon as you stop doing those classes, as soon as you quit the trade shows and quit showing up for all these networking events and everything else, your business stalls. And so even in a kind of business like property management, there's always some attrition on the back end, no matter what. So you can't just build your business up to a certain level and then just say, well, I'm comfortable with that, because people's situations with their properties change and they sell. Sometimes you have a run-in with an owner who's, let's face it, they're people just like the rest of us, and some of them are crazy just like the rest of us. And you have to let them go. And so now you're stuck with, okay, I just lost a customer. Now I need to replace a customer. So there is, even if you just want to grow your business to a certain point, you still have to have customers coming in. And so you have to learn to build your business where it grows without you.
Yep. And so I'll just add before we, just to kind of clarify a little bit, so what Ed is alluding to is, we have 3 phases of the independent business method. And the first phase is, having your business grow without you, right? So that's what he's alluding to now. And then once he transitions from there, then you go into phase 2, which is runs without you. And then finally into phase 3, scales without you. So so he's just kind of going through his step-by-step process, and in terms of working together, how he was able to hit those milestones. Right. So anyway, all right, Ed, I just want to interject there really quick just to help the viewers at home.
No,
kind of understand
that's
the
good.
trajectory.
Yeah, because that's really important for people to understand is that these phases, and this is way back in the early days where Eric, um, we had the 9 steps, but we didn't have it as clear of a system as it is now.
Yeah.
Right now, it's a walk in the park because you can see, from the moment you take your first step into the process where you're going to end up and what steps you have to take to get there.
Yeah.
In the early days, I knew where I wanted to go. I knew the steps, but they weren't,
I didn't have a
as
lot of
clear.
templates. I didn't have a
Yeah,
lot of, it
yeah,
was very, here's what you do. And then, there was some creativity on the part of the client to kind of fill in the gaps. And over time, we got a lot better. Like I said, we got very systematic, like Ed was saying. But
right,
yeah, the early days, I mean, and it was 9 steps. Now it's 12 steps, right? So there's
right,
definitely been some innovation over the years.
right.
So, but
But first thing, from the beginning, first things first is your company has to grow without you.
yeah,
Because if you are involved in every sale, then there's going to come a point, no matter what, where your business is going to stop because they're just going to run out of you. You can't do everything in your company and expect it to grow. So first things first is you got to get customers to build a system to get customers in the door um, without your involvement. So basically, you build a machine. That's your job. You're the owner of the company. You're going to have to build a machine, and then you're going to have to let the machine do the work.
Recently, I compiled a 1-hour tell-all interview video, audio, transcript, checklist, 3-part video series, masterclass, and on-demand training valued at $297 into this free independent business case study kit. It reveals the insider secrets of how our offline and online business owners build businesses that grow, run, and scale without them, and I want you to have it. You can access it for free right now. The link is in the description.
So that takes a while. You have to build a process where, and it's tough when you're a basically a sole proprietor. I mean, yeah, we're incorporated, but it's basically just me doing the work. And I had help from family and stuff like that. But right at first, it was a lot on me, and so it takes a bit to. You have to basically grow your business past the point of pain,
yeah,
so that you can afford to add your first employee on. And so and so you grows without you, of course, is first. But then that's really easier than runs without you. Runs without you is really when you're going to put your work into it. So,
and then Ed, and you find, and this is just kind of a question for from your experience.
okay.
Um, do you find, because I see a lot of other programs will kind of flip flop, right? They'll have the sales be the kind of the second, third step. And what I found is if, and then this is what I'm asking you, is if you don't get the sales process dialed in so it doesn't involve you, I feel like you become a bottleneck because you can't do both, run your business and do a good job with that and sell at the same time, right? So what's your experience
Well, you're
in that
absolutely
regard?
correct. So I think everybody's first inclination is to go with the runs without you, especially if you're already successful in your business, so-called successful. Basically, you've still built yourself a great job, but you really have to get the sales part down first before you can runs. Go to step 2, which is runs without you. Because if you start the runs without you without a good sales process, as soon as you jump out of sales, I can tell you right now, if you're a sole proprietor and as soon as you jump out of the sales industry, there's basically nobody in this planet that is going to sell as well as you sell your own service or product. And so there's no employee in the world is going to care about your business as much as you do. They're not going to have as much knowledge. They're not going to want the sale as bad. So as soon as you switch to grows without you, your sales are going to go down a little bit until you get a real process going.
Yeah.
So if you start with runs without you, and then it runs without you takes a lot of effort. I mean,
Yeah.
it's work. You're
Yeah.
running two jobs. Just, your second job is just trying to get yourself extricated out of your business, and that's a big process. So you don't want to do that before you have a sales process in place. If you do, your business is going to tank off. You're going to have to back out of it. You're going to have to back out of the runs without you and go and start building your sales back up. So it seems right at first, I think everybody would want to jump in and do the runs without you, but really, you really do have to build that sales process first.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. So, anyway, so
yeah, so let's talk. Well, actually, let's talk about kind of how that worked for you too, because that's a big. I mean, that's a big issue, right? I mean, a lot of people go, well, no one, like you said, no one can outsell me, right? Like I'm the best at selling what I sell, right?
Right.
And the whole idea with this is that you get your sales process so systematized that you can replace yourself, right? So I think that's a litmus test right there. If you can't have someone else run that, then you're just not ready, and so maybe you can kind of walk people through just to kind of be a little helpful on what that looked like, and how we did that together, how we collaborated and made that sales process work without you.
When I say nobody's going to sell your business as well as you do, two things. One, it's true, except there's only one of you.
Recently, I compiled a 1-hour tell-all interview video, audio, transcript, checklist, 3-part video series, masterclass, and on-demand training valued at $297 into this free independent business case study kit. It reveals the insider secrets of how our offline and online business owners build businesses that grow, run, and scale without them, and I want you to have it. You can access it for free right now. The link is in the description.
Thanks for joining us for part 2 of our 5-part series, The Independent Business Tell-All Interview with Ed Wagner, owner and founder of Empire Property Management. Today we uncovered the choice to change, leaving the dependent business prison behind. Be sure to join us for part 3, where we'll dive into breaking free, why a prime selling system lets your business thrive independently. You won't want to miss how Ed leveraged the independent business method to take his next big step toward true business independence.